I only got into bikes 9 years ago. I love travelling and biking, so combining the two is just perfect. I've done a couple of trips before, but this one is to ship the bike to Canada, ride to Alaska, and from there directly south to my girlfriend's cousin's Ellie's in Argentina. I'm taking this 12-year-old BMW R1100 GS. There's 75,000 miles on the clock, but I know it very well and it's perfect for two-up touring. Bit of routine maintenance before I leave. Do the air filter, the oil filter, brake pads, tyres. Then all you do is just strip the bike down to try and make it as small as possible for crating. Take the fairings, the luggage, everything off, front wheel if possible, and just compress the bike. Crating has become very, very expensive. They're charging per cubic metre as always, but the prices have gone up, so it's worth bearing in mind. All you need is your passport, driving licence, international driving licence, vehicle licensing certificate, shipping bill, and that's it. No carnet de passage necessary. Now this is day one in Canada. The first time the bike started from the crate, the minute I connected the Odyssey battery. Day one for both of us, there's no surprises with Canada. Big roads, big skies, perfect temperature, 25 degrees, and absolutely ideal for biking. We're only gone 100 miles anyway, north of Montreal, and straight away into beer country. The first camp we stopped at, the owner was telling us that a guy had been eaten by a bear only a month beforehand. Now it's the small black bear, but further north it's the grizzly, so we're getting ready, but we're seeing signs for bears everywhere, so we're a bit nervous about camping at night. The BMW performed great, which you more or less expect from day one, but the fork seals had gone by day two, but other than that I had no other problems during Canada. The eastern side of Canada is noted for being very boring. Lots of straight roads, plenty mountains and lakes, but there's hardly a bend to be seen for thousands of kilometres. Now, this is Ellie, my pillion passenger and girlfriend for the whole trip.
People from Canada are great, are very friendly. The weather is fantastic. When we just half an hour ago we had a rainfall. No, yeah. Rainfall. But it's very warm and it's great. And now today, now is the first time we are really relaxed since we left Ireland yesterday 9 o'clock in the morning.
To keep the costs down of the entire trip, we're going to camp where possible. Just a quick snack in the evening and throw the tent up in the woods.
If you come to Canada, don't trust the mosquitoes.
Is it painful?
Well, it's a bit uncomfortable. Tonight I was feeling like it was getting bigger, and I went to the toilet, I don't know, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm full of bites.
They have a saying in Canada that some of the roads are so long and straight you can see the McDonald's sign all day and still not arrive.
This is the road we are driving this morning.
As in the States, they love their Harleys in Canada. This is Grand Prairie here, where we came across some beautiful V-rods. The paintwork alone is worth more than my BMW. Everybody's driving a Harley Davidson or what do you call them, those Honda Goldwings, or BMW sticks out like a sore thumb. So everybody's inquisitive about the plate. They're all asking us, where are you from? IRL. You know, where the hell is that? Is that Iceland? But sometimes we get unwanted attention by people, but most of the time they're just being inquisitive. But another great thing anyway is it's safe here. We can both go into the shops together and come out and everything on the bike is left alone. When we go further down south, that won't be the case. Somebody's going to have to stay by the bike all the time. So we're taking advantage of that at the moment. In maybe 2 weeks' time it'll be different though. Sinead? At this petrol station we came across some beautiful KTMs. They're a stunning machine and I'd seriously consider it for my next one. After torrential rain, our excess money and documents were totally soaked, so luckily Ellie was able to dry them out.
Just now is 10 o'clock in the morning. We left the campsite about 7, half past 7, and after 15 minutes we left the campsite. We saw a huge moose. I couldn't believe it. Maybe another 2 or 3 kilometers farther we saw a wolf with the cubs, and was beautiful and a bit scary too. And after we saw at last one bear, one black small bear, but was eating grass. But oh my God, it's a bit scary.
Plenty of hills and dales the further west you go, better scenery and huge landscapes. You meet some great characters in the bar, like Sheen here from Newfoundland, now working in Western Canada. This is Moncho Lake. It's so big and so deep they still haven't found the bottom of it. Plenty of wild horses up here as well. One of the best things about Canada is the wildlife. Caribou just grazing peacefully at the side of the road. It's absolutely brilliant. 1,200 meters of British Columbia.
Beautiful.
Plenty of roadworks and dirt roads and bridges and rivers. Now we both wanted to see a grizzly, but we were a little bit nervous about it as well. Because we were camping most of the time, would have been dangerous. Even here in Liard Springs, a woman was attacked just weeks before we arrived and killed by a bear. So it's a bit spooky. Hi guys, welcome to the Yukon. I've been driving for the last hour and a half and I haven't seen any houses. Beautiful country as you can see, but Jesus, wouldn't want to get a breakdown here or puncture anyway. But luckily there's a lot of traffic in summer, but no homes. Now these bridges here, there's grates for the snow to fall straight through to the river below during the winter time to stop them from getting iced over. Alright Ellie, explain to me how you don't get a sore arse on the back of the bike at about 700 or 800 miles a day.
10 or 15 minutes exercise every day on the bike.
Yeah?
One of the exercise is, how is straight stairs, I can say.
Yeah?
Like this, I straight stairs
Yeah.
and relax. Straight. I count 10 or 20 and relax. And like this 10 or 20 times.
Oh yeah?
And after I do exercise with my shoulders.
Yeah.
Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. And with my legs, I stretch my legs and I move like this with the wind. And that's it.
How do you cope with the bears when you're cycling along and you have to camp at the side of the road?
I don't drink a lot. You mean beers for drinking?
No, bears.
Oh,
bears. Oh,
Grizzly
yes.
bears.
Well, I'm not so far. I'm not camping near the road.
Right,
So
right.
No.
I take campsites or sometimes a bed and breakfast or a hostel.
Okay, okay.
And when I started my trip in Anchorage
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, the first thing I did was buying a can of pepper spray.
Ah, okay.
So that gives me a safe feeling.
Sure.
And further, it's good to keep the food out of your tent, also on the campsite.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Last night I was really a bit scared because in the campsite the manager told us there was a bear around looking for food. Then we had to leave all the food and all the toothpaste and creams and all everything could smell. We had to leave in the store, in the restaurant, and I don't know, Matt, but I didn't sleep very well. I was listening to lots of strange noises all the night.
A lot of people here use seaplanes to get around for the huge distances and lack of roads, but there's plenty lakes to land on, so it's never a problem.
Many years I live here until American people tell me to move out. And they turn my house into a hotel, the mad bastards. Anything to make money, but now I know house. Look at my house, look at my fine house, now you gone, hotel.
Perfect. Now when we reach Alaska, doesn't take long before we see lots of glaciers on the roadside. It's an amazing sight. You can ride right up beside them.
But there was a gentleman riding a bicycle from Anchorage all the way to Ohio,
Right.
and he said he was out camping and he was walking along and this big old bear come in. There's a big old grizzly and stood up and started sniffing. He said he didn't have a gun, didn't have bear spray, nothing. And so he grabs a stick and he starts waving over his head and hollering, "Gah!" And the bear was like, "Whoa!" Turned around and ran off.
Really?
I said, that is a hard story to believe. He said, well, it happened. And he doesn't ever want to do that again, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're just after driving about 100 miles of dirt roads in Alaska, and first time I got stuck in, I had to be pushed out. We went into gravel about maybe that much, but got buried up to the axles. And the second time we fell off, very embarrassing, because cars were going through it. We just hit a very bad patch. So it was funny, I heard Ellie behind me. Ah! And me too. This is one of our first bears. We saw 8 in total, 6 black and 2 grizzlies. Couldn't get them all on film, but it was dynamite to see them in their natural habitat, so to speak.
Hello.
Eating berries and just taking in the sun. Now this is the southwestern part of Alaska, Hyder, where the Salmon Glacier is, one of the biggest glaciers in the world. Hyder is famous for grizzly bears eating, but we didn't see any when we went there. Now finally, after leaving Alaska, we head directly south, reaching the States through Montana, Idaho, through the Bitterroot Mountains, This was a route suggested by Josh Hogan, another motorcycle adventurer I'd met in Dingle, and he advised me to come this way, and it was stunning. And luckily his dad Shim put us up for the night. I didn't catch him on film, but he's a true star.
I loved Montana. Montana reminds me of Western films. There are typical towns, I don't know, lots of antiques beside the road, and the scenery is flat and mountain with horses, and it's nice.
Common problem with the BMW, oil seal after braking again. Oil going up along my left leg and Ellie's, so we'll have to sort that out. Have a quick look at it anyway.
This is Elko, Nevada, where an awful lot of Basque people settled. Some of them had restaurants, so it was an opportunity for Ellie to exchange stories with some of her country people. A lot of these guys had to leave during the Franco regime. They weren't allowed to speak Basque, so they made America their new home. But they've never forgotten the Basque country. Plenty memorabilia attached to the wall.
He loves dancing.
Now arriving in Salt Lake City, our tyres were completely shot. We got 15,000 kilometers out of them, so they needed changing. Funny enough, BMW had the front, but they didn't have the rear, so I had to go about 3 miles south to Wright Motorcycles, and they had a rear, but I had to remove the back wheel myself.
Idaho was beautiful and was so emotional for me because there are lots of people, Basque people living there, and some of them they went because of Franco, and others went 100 years ago to work with sheep. But this is so emotional too. We are in Utah now because it's so beautiful. It's amazing, the scenery.
Like Mars.
It's like Mars. I don't know. I have never seen something like that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, entering Colorado here, the heat was absolutely stifling, 35 degrees and more. We had to stop nearly every hour to take water. The landscape gone completely red, even the rivers. Beautiful backdrop to travel. Now, reaching Monument Valley was another high point for us. So many movies had been shot there, it was very inspiring. And even in motorcycle magazines you see this shot of a motorbike on the road parked facing the Monument Valley. Something I always wanted to do. It's just $10 to enter Monument Valley to ride the Sandy Trail, and the proceeds go towards the native Indians, so it's well worth it. That was one of the few times we got to film the two of us on the bike together.
You're like a journalist.
This is Eli from Israel, and he's like a BMW advertisement. Look at this, he's got the best of gear. Absolutely brilliant. Just, where are you heading to next?
I'm going to Monument Valley and then all the way down to Grand Canyon.
Perfect.
And then all the way north to Idaho to Adventure Riders meeting.
Wow.
And then back to St. Louis to earn a little bit more money for my next trip.
Just 400 kilometers later, we reached the Grand Canyon, and it blew the socks off both of us. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best place we'd ever seen. A must-see for anybody heading to the western states. 66, heading for Las Vegas. The money changing hands is absolutely frightening. The Luxor, Caesar Palace, all these places I've only ever seen on TV. It was great to see in real life. It's a bit like a sin city. There's so much money changing hands, and just south of the border they have nothing. It's the two extremes of wealth. Now this is the following day entering Mexico, and it's similar to entering Morocco from Europe. There's such a dramatic change. First thing you notice is a chaos of colour and buildings. Everything's a bit worse for wear, but the real journey starts now. Beautiful beaches and cliffs, and I even know the petrol here, but they just sell it at the side of the road with plastic gallon drums. I still had some euros left over for this trip, and very difficult to change it in Mexico. You have to go to the major cities to get it changed, and there's an awful lot of examining of notes and stuff. Cities like that are stunning, like Acapulco. You can see why so many people live there. Perfect. The other one's asleep then. Oh, landslides can be a nuisance in these places, but if it was too easy a journey, nobody'd bother doing it. It all adds to it. Aye! We're trying to drive about 80 miles directly as the crow flies, and it's taken us about 250 kilometers through twisty, windy roads, potholes all the way. And you come around the corner and there's a pig out in the middle of the road, or a dog running across, or a donkey, one or the other. But we went up to about 2,000 meters, and now we're after coming down again to get a bit of, we're back into the sun. But it was a bit scary there. I had a couple of moments on the bike where I thought, oh no, because they're having roadworks and earth and everything right across the road, so you can feel the back wheels spinning and you're losing it. Central America was much more expensive than what we expected, but the people were great. We even got blessed by old people when they heard where we were travelling from. Motorways are expensive, $30 to go 300 miles, so most of the time we took the secondary roads. We're heading south all the way through tropical roads like this. Now this is the scourge of Mexico. The speed bumps, or topes as they call them. Could be belting along at 70 miles an hour, they appear out of nowhere, and bang! Your passenger, your tyre, and yourself gets a serious jolt. Oh yeah! These are some of the Mayan ruins in Mitla. A lot of them cities have them, and as you can see, the architecture is amazing for such a long period of time ago. Mexico is full of army checkpoints, but they never ever bothered us. It's an easy country for bikers to get through, but I think with cars, and particularly American cars, it's much harder. Getting a good map of Central America is very difficult. We couldn't get one until we arrived, so we had to wing it a lot of times, so heading directly towards all the major cities just about did it for us. But we definitely struggled a lot with directions. So if possible, try and get a good map of Central America before you leave, and South America for that matter. That's good testament to the roads here. I'm scrubbing in the side walls of the tyres, and it started first in Mexico, then in Guatemala, and now in El Salvador as well. The road surfaces are excellent, better than in Ireland, and you can really just drop the bike down, and with two people up and with all the luggage, that's fair credit to the roads here. No peace of mind disappeared coming into the Honduras-El Salvador border. It's notorious for paperwork and corruption. We knew this in advance, but it sucks eggs because we had to pay $260 to cross. A lot of the roads are still under construction, so be prepared for everything. Now we stayed in hotels in Central America because it only cost $10 and it's cheaper than the camping in the States or in Canada, and the hotels give us peace of mind as well. We're dug and basic here. It's basically a hose with cold water.
Oh,
But
no.
for $11, how bad? Over 3,000 meters on the GPS there we're just after going. It's raining only 50 meters down. So we've just gone above all the rain clouds. It's the first time I've ever gone 3,000 meters on a motorbike. But I'm sure in South America we're even going to go higher. These kids helped us with customs at the border. They only allow kids to do the customs duties because they can do it for pocket money. All border crossings on average around $20 and take about 3 hours, but it's not too bad compared to Asia or Central Asia.
All the money we gave in the custom in Honduras, in total $260. I can't tell because I start crying. We were stupid, but okay, that's it.
So
but the Nicaragua, and then I'm doing everything myself.
From anyone else.
I don't take any shit for anyone, and I'm doing myself, and it's not very difficult. It takes time, but it's not very difficult. And I'm sure we could have done the same in Honduras, but it was almost impossible. The amount of people you have around, and
occasionally we get pulled over by the police in Central America. Once you play it cool, bamboozle them with paperwork, there's never a problem. One freakout was Nicaragua, because the very first petrol station we got to, there was 12 armed guards. Loads of volcanoes and everything, that was great to see. We saw numerous accidents on the trip, but luckily we were never involved in any. We even saw a couple of guys getting taken out from a transporter that were dead. After Guatemala, Mexico even, El Salvador, Honduras and Nicaragua, Costa Rica is a huge bonus. You can really relax here more than any of the rest of the countries because it's higher standard of living, and you can park the bike outside. The two of us can walk into a shop without knowing the stuff's going to be okay, and they have a constant weather temperature all year round of about 30 degrees, so when you're driving the bike it's just right from December through to January again. Brilliant. We're actually here in the winter time and it's mint. A couple of clouds and that's it. It's definitely a place I come back to see. We'll hit the beach and take it easy for a while. Costa Rica is one beautiful country. Serious surfing waves and it's not cold by any means. Well, it's not as bad as Alaska. With this stretch of road for 30 kilometers, it's bumpy as hell. There are big potholes here. But at least there's plenty of grip. But if it rains, I could be in trouble. Heading into Panama and towards the famous Panama Canal was something special for us. We'd always hear about it in school. Great view over the bridge and all the numerous ships below waiting passage. The locals call these the cocaine towers, such as the corruption here. We met a couple of crooked cops, but in general had a fantastic experience of Panama and of the people.
okay, the best rower in Quito.
No, it's not. Straight.
Anything to say?
It's a lot harder than it looks. That's what I have to say.
We need Guinness.
We'll get there, right? Flying into Quito, Ecuador was a great relief for us. It was a nice change from the heat in Panama because it's nice and 18 degrees like that for most of the year. While we were waiting for the motorbike to be airlifted over, we took time to see the sights in the city. Everything here in Ecuador is really cheap and there's a nice calm atmosphere about the place. The city itself is at 2,800 meters, so you're a bit short of breath when you start walking around doing big distances up and down hills. Hey, hola, sí.
Agáchate, agáchate, que vaya.
Bueno. This cable car takes you to 4,000 meters overlooking the city of Quito. Stunning view. Takes us a long time to find the right road out of Quito. It's like a labyrinth, but when you eventually make it, it's breathtaking to get out in the scenery. Conditions can change very quickly high up in the mountains. It can be 30 degrees in the valleys down below, and up high you can expect anything. Sometimes you can't even see the hand in front of your face with the fog. Some of the local kids in Ecuador hold up ropes in the middle of the road to get money from you, or throw stones at you just like Turkey. In general, there's no problems, it's just beautiful scenery all the way. Be prepared for a lot of dirt roads with suicide drops in South America. Be prepared to slow right down and take the risk out of crashing. There's so much gravel and dirt. And huge falls you're looking at 2,000 meters on either side. You can see where crosses have been erected to buses and cars where people have crashed before, dedicated to the memory of those who've died. So at some petrol stations, they get sexy girls to entice motorists to fill up. And this is very strange. I think they have it in Costa Rica and Bolivia. We skirted along by the Amazon, complete with dense rainforests and seismic activity. A lot of roads were very broken up, regular earthquakes. A lot of the hotels allowed us to park the bike in the foyer for safety. Never even questioned it, never had a problem. So it's a great relief, you never to worry being outside in the street. Peru could run the Paris-Dakar with the amount of sand. I never realised there's so many sand dunes here. It'd be absolutely perfect. All border crossings in South America were a doddle. Less than 20 minutes and very helpful staff. Less bureaucracy than Central America makes it an absolute joy to cross. Even the police were funny and genuinely helpful wherever they stopped us. Road surfaces can be perfect one day and dirt track and sandy the next. I was able to change the tyre here at long last. Even the guy that didn't want to take money, but I gave him something like $10. He was thrilled. Any trail bike will cope perfectly, especially if you don't have a passenger. Well, yesterday we had the biggest nightmare ever on the trip. The shaft drive broke on the bike. After 153,000 kilometers, so it was probably no surprise. but lucky as hell we were about 300 meters from a guy called Lewis with the Pan American Automoritz company. He rebuilds chassis, lorries, all these sorts of things. So we stripped it down, and he spent the night making the piece. He cut the drive shaft in half, went off and made the U-joint again, almost identical to what BMW made. So all it's got to do is 5,000 kilometers more to Buenos Aires, and I'll be happy. Next day we're riding high in the Andes again with the llamas. You can see here in the bottom right of the GPS 4,500 meters, and the roads are like a billiard table even at that height.
Peru has been fantastic. It's really beautiful. We have been the last 3 hours all the time 4,000 meters or higher. We saw lots of llamas. There is something magical here in Peru. It's not only the scenery, there is something more.
Kerry County Council, take note. Now with our welded drive shaft, we had to make a beeline for Buenos Aires so nothing else would happen. Most routes we took was pretty straightforward through Bolivia and the low-lying part of Bolivia, in particular around Cochabamba and into La Pampa, into Argentina, so to avoid pressure on the drive shaft. Now this hostel owner, it was his dream to ride a BMW GS, so in the morning I offered him the bike to give him a spin, and it made his day. On reaching Buenos Aires at long last, we felt thrilled to have accomplished the trip. We walked around this very modern, almost European city, taking the views, drums, bars. And Argentina itself is famous for the tango. Finally we meet Ellie's cousins. Right. They proved to be great hosts. This guy in particular, Horka, we never had to put our hand in our pocket. He looked after us fully. He even got the bike shipped out from Argentina and organised everything. Now another bonus on the trip was Ellie got pregnant in Panama. So here in the scan in Buenos Aires you're seeing our baby for the first time. Hopefully young Liam will love to ride bikes around the world once he's had enough to sleep. I'd like to see him retracing our steps on 2 wheels. So after 4 months, 20,000 miles on the road, it's great to return home. BMW shipped back. I promptly sold it because I'd like to cross Africa next, and I needed something like a Tenere to do that. I'm in practice trail riding all the time in preparation for it.